Hi everyone, what's up bikers? Today we're covering a biker movie, or I should say a movie with a biker in it. I got the Harley Davidson on, ride to live, live to ride, and it's all for the big man upstairs. We're on our knees for the big man, we ride for the big man. What, we're Christian bikers. Christian film isn't exactly the first genre you might think of when it comes to found footage horror, and you definitely wouldn't think of making one of the main characters an elderly bounty hunter. Hunter's Creed is a movie so unbelievably bad I wasn't sure I was gonna even be able to make a video about it until I saw the most unhinged and hilarious ending I could have ever imagined. But first, here's a quick word from today's video sponsor. This video was sponsored by Fume. Bad habits are a normal part of everyday life for my friend, not for me. And my friend can also feel pressured in social situations where bad habits are around. But thankfully there's Fume to give you a break from toxic vices. Fume is a flavored air device that leads in the flavored air category, which is quickly becoming a leading alternative for vaping or smoking. No vapor, no batteries, no charging, and no guilt. Fume is nicotine free, the flavors are non-toxic, and it's 1/3 of the cost of unhealthier habits. I personally love the variety of flavors it comes in, which keeps things fresh. My personal favorite is crisp mint. It's refreshing, it's tasty. Here, have a slurp on that. I also really appreciate that it's discreet. I often get asked when I'm using it if it is a vape, and it's not. The design is sleek, it's high quality material, and it's also weighted and meant to be fidgeted with, which I really appreciate. It's easy to just have around with you and just mess around with it anywhere. No matter what you're using Fume for, it really has something for everyone. This holiday season, you can give the gift of better habits with Fume. Head to tryfume.com/EthanIsOnline and use code EthanIsOnline to get a free Fume topper when you order a journey pack. I think the topper is great. It's also chewable, which is definitely more satisfying than it might seem. And if you're lucky, you might even win one of Fume's limited edition gold-plated devices this holiday season. Again, tryfume.com/EthanIsOnline or just scan the QR code on your screen to grab your Fume today or make someone else's holiday unforgettable. Thank you so much to Fume for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. Hunter's Creed is a 2020 faith-based horror film that I wish I never learned existed. I wish no one found this footage. But I also think it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I stumbled across Hunter's Creed, which, fun fact, was originally titled Hunting God. They changed it for reasons that I don't understand. That was a way better title. I stumbled across this movie when looking up what Dog the Bounty Hunter had been doing recently, as one does, and I found an interview with Dog and his newest and sixth wife, talking about his role in this movie and how the passing of his previous wife helped him get into character. So that's super fucking weird. I have to see what the movie is now. If you don't already know who he is, Dog the Bounty Hunter was all over TV in the early 2000s. If you did something bad, he was coming for you. He would come to your house with his wife and his son, and they all have weapons.
But I don't believe in killing, and I don't believe in guns. But I use my mace can like it's a .45 pistol. When I say, freeze, they know what I'm saying.
And no, they are not the police. On the show, Dog has a visibly massive ego, and the entire purpose of the show was to portray him as a cop, crushing crime and locking away dangerous criminals, cleaning up the streets, while wearing incredibly stylish, badass clothing. But he was really just playing cop and going after people who skipped bail or missed a court date, not like the cartel. Most of the stuff he did was like super illegal, like constitutionally illegal, and because he had the money for weapons and personnel, and only went after people who were poor and desperate already, it wasn't exactly a challenge for him to wrangle these petty criminals and then bring them in not for the crimes that they may or may not have done, but for missing a court date or for missing bail. He's like a repo man, but for your freedom. I love America. And then he would always try to lecture the people that he caught. Sometimes he's just hunting some guy wanted for a DUI. Like, yeah, that's not a good thing to do, but that doesn't mean that Dog the Bounty Hunter gets to break into your house and confiscate your child.
Both of you have to go to jail. Why? Because we can no longer trust you on the bond.
What the fuck? Again, not even a cop. Just running around in a mesh t-shirt, utters out, pretending to be a cop, while his wife goes Karen mode on anyone in her radius.
Stop her for lying, aiding and abetting. You all knew he was a fugitive. You guys have been lying.
Speaking of Dog's fashion sense, something that I think is pretty hilarious over time, Dog the Bounty Hunter has continued adding more and more feathers to his hair, and now he looks like this. This may shock you, but Dog also has a history of being openly racist. There's an infamous phone call he made to his son that leaked where he insists on his son breaking up with a black girl that he's dating because he likes to say the N-word, not in a racist way. He just doesn't want it to get misconstrued, you see.
I'm not taking a chance on some motherfucker. I don't care if she's a Mexican, a whore, whatever. It's not because she's black. It's because we use the word nigger sometimes here. I'm not going to take a chance ever in life of losing everything I've worked for 30 years because some fucking nigger heard us say nigger and turned us into the Inquirer magazine. Our career is over. I'm not taking that chance at all.
He actually spoke up about this old phone call a few years ago in the wake of accusations from his daughter that he is still racist. And I'll just let Dog speak for himself.
The accusations are serious and scathing. Dog's daughter claiming he is racist, homophobic, and was unfaithful to her late mother, Beth, who died just over 2 years ago.
I have never been a racist. I'm 33.5% Apache. But because of over 15 years ago, I have an Achilles heel because I used the wrong word.
Well, let me ask you about that. That moment 15 years ago.
Yes, sir.
That phone call with your son.
Correct.
You were using language, and over 6 times during that call, you used the N-word.
Yes, sir.
Why were you using that word so freely?
Well, I thought I had a pass in the black tribe to use it, kind of like Eminem.
Who gave you the pass?
The brothers.
Who were the brothers?
I had just, gotten out of prison in 1979 after spending time in 18 months in Texas, and it was probably 3/4 from the black tribe. So that was a word that we used back and forth as maybe a compliment. My pass expired for using it, but no one told me that. To say a racist name doesn't qualify to make you a racist.
If you use that word, if you use that word and you use it in your regular everyday life, it makes you a racist.
I have more black friends than Eminem.
That is the proximity argument. Like, I have lots of black friends, so that should make me okay with black people.
I think he is the most insane man on the planet.
Chapman also denies his daughter's allegations that he used homophobic language.
Why would she say that?
She's been fed what to say. I have 3 people that are on my staff that are gay, men. My daughter's gay, baby Lisa. I don't understand why anybody would ever say that.
I hear what you're saying, but remember, proximity does not mean that you're not racist or homophobic.
Would I die for a gay man or a black man? I'd lay down my life.
Dog the Bounty Hunter, at least in his prime, was pure conservative power fantasy. A rich guy who looks like a pro wrestler with a bitchin' SUV who gets to wrangle up criminals with his wife. And that was TV in the early 2000s. It was a bad time. Now, Dog the Bounty Hunter's been a born-again Christian longer than he's been a reality TV celebrity. But in the last few years, he's been especially vocal about how his faith frames his politics and his worldview.
I told you this morning, little Hitler, and if you'll remember, Hitler committed suicide. Hitler, you know why? Because he was caught. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to catch these cheaters. And I'm not saying with my mouth or my tongue that he's going to commit suicide, but you never know.
Yes, this Christian smiled and smirked at the thought of President Joe Biden committing suicide.
Oh my god, it looks like he's melting. Somebody turn the AC on, quick! Dog's liquefying! More like Hot Dog the Bounty Hunter at the 7-Eleven on the roller. Way longer than it should be. Dog the Bounty Hunter, not the most surprising pick for a faith-based horror film, especially one with hunting in the name, although it's not about hunting guys with parking tickets, it's about hunting deer. Well, okay, no, the movie's actually about making a reality show about hunting deer. Dog the Bounty Hunter's here because he knows about reality shows. Let's check out the Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a 91% from 2 ratings. Not many faith-based films tackle the questions and themes that Hunter's Creed has. This film asks, what is faith? What is friendship and brotherhood? Are there boundaries? What happens when your best friend loses everything? What happens when you give up on your faith and find yourself lost in the woods? Well, okay, that's the only question this movie actually asks. What if you had lost your faith and were wandering around the woods? This is a well-written, well-produced, well-acted, and entertaining film that doesn't let up from beginning to end. Looks like straight-to-video made crap. Half star. So I guess the jury is still out on this movie 4 years after release. Like I mentioned before, Dwayne, that's his real name. Dwayne the Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like I mentioned before, Dog's wife throughout his TV career died like a year before this movie even came out, and Dog's character references that in the movie. We'll get to it. But also he said in this interview that he was haunted by the ghost of his dead wife.
She would say, Big Daddy, you better not let another girl take my place. I said, I won't. She's like, if you do, I will haunt you.
She haunted me for a bit. And there'll never be another Mrs. Dog, but by God, there'll be a final Mrs. Chapman.
Honestly, haunting deserved. He should be haunted. He's speaking in past tense, so I can only imagine that he exorcised Beth's ghost. What happens then? Where did she go? Why would you do that, dog? Where is Beth's spirit now? And why isn't that in the movie? They really squandered their opportunity to put Dog the Bounty Hunter in a movie about hunting ghosts, including the spirit of his ex-wife. I've been stalling long enough. You know everything you need to know about Dog the Bounty Hunter, about Jesus. I'm watching this on Fossum, by the way, everyone's favorite streaming service, Fossum. So the majority of the movie is shot in this really annoying, like, home footage, found footage, first person style. Basically everything is from the POV of one of the characters holding the camera. And there are a million different examples of films that do this. All of them do it better than this movie does. There are scenes where there's just an extra camera on a tripod for no reason, and it just randomly cuts with no explanation. There are shots edited with really lazy shortcuts to maintain the illusion of found footage, all just for the service of this stupid gimmick that doesn't even, it sucks. But more than anything else, later on in the movie, it just gets confusing. It's not always obvious who's holding the camera, and as they introduce more characters, it just gets difficult to keep track of who's who and whose view you see through. And the camera's also always bobbing around and shaking around. It's fucking annoying. Just make the movie normal style. It would make it better in every way. At least the movie starts off strong with Dog the Bounty Hunter front and center, my man, belly out. He's letting them things breathe. Unfortunately, Dog only has a few ominous lines about God.
God becomes God when you need him. And they need God right now.
Before it cuts to the main character, first person POV looking at his wife. And she points to some stock footage of a deer.
Oh, David, look.
That's romantic. That's beautiful. That's serene. The main character talks about how the deer looks delicious.
Doesn't she look beautiful?
She looks delicious.
You are awful.
What the fuck, man? No, it doesn't. That's the whole animal. In the very first scene, there's already an example of what I'm talking about with how annoying this filming style is. You're trying to tell me that this man is holding a camera out like this, like holding while he's like kissing his wife and is getting everything in the shot, including the pan up. Just film it with a regular camera. It's just not believable at all. After a creepy scene of main character sneaking up on his wife to give her a present, as you do, totally normal. The next scene, the wife is explaining the concept of the deer hunting show they're trying to make called Buck Fever Addicts.
Now, as most of y'all know, we're still trying to figure out what we want the show to be, but...
Which of course brings us to Dog the Bounty Hunter to educate the main character on how to make a reality show.
We have the incredible blessing to be able to sit down with somebody who knows a thing or two about reality TV and working with family and being on camera. So, without further ado, I am so happy to introduce the one, the only... Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I don't really know what the appeal of this hunting show is or what the hunting show is or what it's supposed to be at all. They don't really explain what the show is that they're trying to make, nor is the movie very explicitly about the making of the show. The show is rather a small piece of the movie that is a little cumbersome and stupid to be in there. This could just be a movie about hunting and it would make way more sense actually. Film it normal, make it about hunting. Might actually have a faith-based horror film on your hands. I guess the wife found Dog the Bounty Hunter. She found somewhere, I don't know. He was rooting around in their garbage. And she gives her husband, the main character, a nice surprise by having Dog the Bounty Hunter tackle him in his living room. They should have kept the surprise going. Just no, arrest him, bring him into the car, tell him how to fix his life.
What is your favorite TV show?
What? Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
Hey. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Why is he here?
I guess that's how I would react too if he was in my house. They don't even have a pilot yet for this stupid hunting show. What is Dog even supposed to help with? What is he doing here? They hang out with Dog for a little bit and he compliments the show and the idea that the main character has for his show.
I love your idea of truth and your concept of the #1 hunting show, God and family.
That's perfect. You've got a great combination.
I can't even conceptualize what the show is. What is it? Is Dog in it? This is the first of one of those scenes I was talking about where the camera is just randomly also on a tripod in addition to being held by one of the characters, but the character holding the camera conveniently isn't in the frame that the tripod is shooting at. But they haven't even filmed a pilot for the hunting show, so why are they filming all of this? It doesn't make sense to film all this stupid stuff. None of that really matters now, because now they're in the hospital. And the wife character is sick with illness, unnamed illness. I hate when movies do this. Do they think it's like distasteful or something to name an actual lethal condition? Could they just not come up with one? I guess it's supposed to be cancer because she has this head scarf on, but that's the most they do to illustrate that. I mean, the first scene they're in the hospital is to do like a pregnancy checkup or something. And then the next time they're in the hospital, she's coughing. And then the third time, like 2 minutes later, she's dying. And then she's dead. It took like 10 minutes for the wife to die. Dog the Bounty Hunter had more lines than she did. Speaking of the man himself, the actual main character of the movie, he is on the front of the cover. Dog the Bounty Hunter films, I guess, like a cameo outside of his house. I don't know what the context of this is. He's filming it himself, which is, you know, convenient. So far, Dog the Bounty Hunter has been in 3 scenes. 2 of them he's sitting down, and 1 of them he's at home. He's at home. He didn't even leave his house. This is, by the way, how we know that the main character's wife is going to die. Dog the Bounty Hunter tells us.
Hey guys, I just heard the news, and I'm very sorry. As you both know, I just went through this, so I think that my recommendations and my advice this time could be real.
Okay, so I have no fucking idea how this happened, but Dog the Bounty Hunter has spit just all over his mouth this entire scene.
Dave, lover, kisser, hugger.
As he's talking about wife character's mouth and her tongue. How did they use this footage of him with the fucking spit on his mouth? Did they not have another take? He's so old.
I heard that you said you had the symptoms of this disease.
No.
That's a start. You know, the Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. That the most unruly member of the body is the tongue. So please watch what you both say. Dave, lover, kisser, hugger. Whatever she wants. Get her. Kate, I love you very much. You have a great husband.
It's so gross. His mouth is covered in spit. It is the most hilarious scene I've ever seen in my life. How did they leave it in? If they cut this scene out of the movie, it would make more sense. So then wife character tragically dies immediately after that scene.
And as they say, aloha.
This movie has extreme emotional whiplash because it's dealing with very heavy and serious topics, but is ill-equipped at best to deal with anything, including making a movie. So from here, the movie really derails, and it's because there's less Dog the Bounty Hunter in it.
See me, he says. Dude disappears for 2 years, then makes it harder than rocks to find him and do the hunting show that was his idea in the first place.
Even though his wife is dead, the main character is following Dog the Bounty Hunter's advice and continuing making his hunting TV show, and decides to meet up with his buddies to go to the woods and film it. None of the characters are very memorable or even introduced properly. I don't even remember the main character's name. I've been calling him main character this whole time. The only guy I know is Dog. And I think this is really a limitation of the style they chose to film this in, because exposition is the least natural thing to record in first person with no cuts. But the character I do remember the most from this latter half of the movie is the one that never stops talking.
Our show follows 4 bowmen, myself included, on the hunt for some good old whitetail. Now, this episode we're in the Midwest, on an amazing property hasn't been hunted in years. Come on, Dave! Let's go! Woo! Let's get her done! Woo-hoo-hoo! This here's a hunting cabin if there ever was one!
He just never stops making jokes and doing voices, and it's fucking annoying. Again, I have no idea what the idea is supposed to be for this hunting reality show. #1 hunting show, God and family. So the guys do some pranks, just some bro stuff, hetero Christian retreat, as they set up for their hunting trip. And then they do this weird scene just to introduce the bow that one of the characters uses.
Here comes the bow, dressed in camo. Here comes the bow. He will kill the bow. Ho, 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 ho.
And then it never comes up again. I think they just put this bow in the movie to be a tax write-off, and I'm not even joking. Most of this movie is filler, which is exactly why I hate it. That and a lot of other reasons. But it was what I was worried about the most when I heard it was a low-budget, faith-based movie shot in the woods. Since the beginning of low-budget movies, people have been making films about going to the woods with your friends and fucking around for 90 minutes, calling it a day, putting some art that's barely related on the cover and selling it. I watched this movie twice and really tried hard to find recurring themes or foreshadowing, or even just a reason for some of these scenes to exist, like the bow scene. And really, there just genuinely isn't. Anyway, main character starts hallucinating candles when he's out in the forest at night. They don't mean anything though. He just sees them sometimes, and then they're gone later. Scary. Once main character's in the deer blind, he sees some deer. He wanders back to camp, and another cheap jump scare lands him in some poop. Then the most annoying character in the movie cooks a bunch of Christian-themed food. Just in case you forgot this was a Christian movie, which I did.
You got your Russell's Testament toast. You got your Russell's Heavenly Hash Browns. You got your Russell's Let He Who Has Not Sinned Cast the First Stone bacon.
The hunting boys set up their camera on a tripod and eat their breakfast for just to have a really long shot of them eating breakfast. But quickly, a crisis of faith breaks out among the group.
You hang around in the darkness long enough, you're bound to make some dark friends.
Well, thank you for telling me that I'm going to hell. You know, if you want to share your religious beliefs with someone, maybe try a better tactic.
You pass me the hand as well, man.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You ever want to see Kate again?
Just like a fucked up thing to say. They're trying to bring this guy out here and make him feel better. I'm not a religious person, but that's just not how you help someone grieve.
About that medication, is that still giving you some issues? I just remember you telling me it was making you tired all the time, right?
I stopped taking it, so it's not a problem.
Oh, well, I think that's for the best.
I don't know if these guys care about this guy that much. These are bad friends. After that, the boys gather around the campfire to just talk some fate. Just a hetero Christian men's retreat. It's straight. The really annoying guy is revealed to actually be really deep, because he saved the kid from drowning once. But he thought the kid was gonna die, but then the kid didn't die, and that means God is real.
Our camp medic, James, rushes up, takes over for me on the compressions. And I was so mad, man. I just let out this scream of anger. Swear to goodness, man. Right when I screamed, the kid spit up like a gallon of water, started breathing.
That's proof of God because he experienced that. Film can be such an impactful medium when used properly, and I don't think that faith-based films are an exception to that. But they are when you don't even bother to make them relatable or serious even. Even main character gets tired of this stupid shit, goes to bed. This movie sucks, I'm out of here. Guess you could say he's sleeping on the Lord. The next time main character's in the deer blind, he spots a buck he wants to shoot and kill and eat. But before he gets his shot off, he falls through the tree blind and just sits there for a while. He's sleeping. I don't know. This shot is too long. All the shots in this movie are too long, and it's barely 90 minutes. There's so much filler. There's so much fluff. Just show me Dog the Bounty Hunter, that's all I'm here for. Eventually, he limps to his feet and starts wandering around the forest and finds a cross in the same style as the necklace he got his wife earlier in the movie. That's the only callback you really get to that. Kind of like Blair Witch, but with Jesus. I guess God is doing that. This is a sign of to believe in God, not to be scared. After that, the hunting boys come back to find main character having a mental breakdown in the cabin. Maybe it's because he got off of his medication, not something you should do without consulting your doctor. So now the trip becomes about what to do with main character, and the hunting boys eventually decide to do nothing and continue letting him wander around the forest by himself.
Look, what could be better than being with friends, enjoying creation, and hunting?
I don't know.
They don't change anything. These are really bad friends. Main character goes to a different blind this time and spots a big buck that he hits with an arrow and starts tracking through the forest. I can't believe how much of this movie, especially the latter third, is filled with shots of this man just bumbling around the woods with this stabilized GoPro. You don't need to show anything if you could just show the main character being scared of whatever he sees. Eventually, he gets scared by a really, really loud noise. And that's God. He runs as fast as he can with this stupid camera just bouncing around. Main character eventually finds the deer that he was tracking, and it has a candle on it and his wife's necklace. Those are callbacks to the movie before that you were watching. And then in the only shot that looks good in the movie, credit where it's due, I kind of like this shot, the deer gets dragged into the forest. As main character tries to run away, he's tripped and grabbed by the Holy Ghost and dangled over a literal portal to hell. Yes, this is real. No, I don't know what's going on. He gets held over this fire for a while.
Dave, call out, man!
But I guess because he pleads to God, he's shown the blinding, powerful light of heaven. One of the hunting buddies finds the two others having seizures on the ground. They don't ever explain why or what's going on with that, and finds main character strung up on a deer trap. He lets him down very comically slowly. And then God's light appears and vaporizes all the hunting boys.
This is so beautiful.
Is that how the rapture works? And then to wrap things up, I shit you not, we come back to the scene from the very beginning. That's how you know it's filmmaking, because it's out of order. And Dog the Bounty Hunter explains where he thinks the hunting boys went.
Now that the footage is out in the public, there's been a lot of controversy. What did you think when you first saw it?
Well, when I first saw it, I had feelings. I mean, I could get feelings from it. So I thought, you know, this is either man-made and or God-made. And then as I watched it again, I thought, boy, there's some things here that man couldn't have done. And of course, some things that man did do. But it's a challenge to see what really happened.
His outfit here is so crazy. The denim shirt is not buttoned, highlighted by his giant gold dog tag necklace that says dog in diamonds.
When you watch something like that, you got the feeling. You did too. And you know, the presence of God, goosebumps, ooh,
Yeah.
you know, and so did I, and so did everybody else. So I think it was, again, some kind of divine intervention.
I can't tell if Dog improvised all of the lines in this ending scene because none of them make any sense.
Why do you believe this has happened?
I think God is showing someone something, or maybe more than one.
He doesn't really say anything. God is trying to show someone something, and it's you, this video. Now like and subscribe. So God killed the hunting boys, right? At least the two that were having seizures. They're definitely dead. I don't know, I hate to say it, but Dog did a really bad job wrapping up the movie. I do wish more movies ended with an interview with Dog the Bounty Hunter about how they ended, though. I think that would do a lot for people. My main advice for this movie and those like it is to take the reality show out of it, make Dog the main character, and make it about hunting ghosts instead, including his ex-wife. I don't know what to tell you, that's just a better movie. If you have any thoughts on Dog the Bounty Hunter's Hunter's Creed movie, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video and going on this insane ride with me. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video and to the channel, and I'll see you in another one next time. Bye.